Maybe I'm not. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is February 11th. This is the Lunenburg Water District Commissioners meeting. Start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and we're going to jump right ahead a little bit here to number 3 because we have Mark Mueller with us here. He's our CPA audit, so take it away, Mark.
Okay, thank you for having me. So I'm just gonna tell you the financial that I've handed to the board is basically derived from the actual audited financial statements. This is a management-only financial statement, and basically it just goes through and explains some of the major variances from year to year. So I'd like to actually start on the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. There's, if you look at the bottom, there's a small number 9. So that would actually be the third page in on your. Okay, so the first variance I want to go through is the water revenue. So interestingly enough, your water revenue increased by $84,000 this year, or 4.2%. Okay, what we found during the audit, that the water district's rates remain in place from 24 to 25. Gallons pumped were actually a little higher than in 24, but less of those gallons were billed in Tier 4, which actually resulted in a decrease in the actual water revenue of $162,000. However, the district implemented the quarterly fee of $15 per quarter, okay, which brought in an additional revenue of $246,000. So overall, the revenue increased by $84,000 this year. Okay. The next variance, we'll just go, I don't care, we can just go right down the line. We'll be looking at number 6, which is depreciation. Basically, depreciation increased this year as you put the Mass Ave water main project into service. So that number will increase. The next variance is salaries. Again, so payroll costs, the auditor noted that the district budget was increased by 4% for salaries over the prior year. However, some of those categories did fluctuate a little bit, a little more than 4%, basically because there is overtime on call and emergency on call figured in. So you're never going to see just a straight 4% unless everybody just does their job for the set amount of time, you know, year after year, and that's never going to happen. So, okay, the next variance will go to number 7, and that basically was just the Lancaster Ave pilot study. That went down by 100% this year. There was just, the pilot study was done in the prior year. Nothing crazy there. All right, the pension expense, which is number 5. Okay, that is an actuarially determined amount. Okay, and the district has basically no control over that cost. So it's going to fluctuate how the actuaries calculate the expense for the year. So it could go up, could go down, depending on how the pension plan assets do. So there was an increase in subcontractor expense this year by about $31,000. That is due to the Mass Ave water main project. Repairs and maintenance went down this year by $33,000, and that was due to a decrease in well maintenance this year. And then wastewater testing and the Hickory Hills pilot study again. So number 8, there was a lead line service study which was expensed in '24, so that's why there's a decrease in that line item. However, if you look down in your non-operating income section, you received a grant of $45,000 to offset that cost in the current year. So it's just it's basically a timing difference. And that's basically the profit and loss, the variances that were significant for the year. If we go to the balance sheet, which is page 7, so if you everybody flips to basically the first page I gave you. The major variances here, so there was a decrease in cash of about $1.4 million this year, and that has to do with the Mass Ave water project. So that was the major variance. Again, accounts receivable are up this year from the prior year. Nothing crazy, but it is a variance. Obviously, your capital assets being depreciated went up by about $2 million. Again, that's placing the Mass Ave water system in service. And basically, that's about it. Those are your major variances for the year.
So how are we doing?
So, how you doing? Okay, so,
Summarize it all.
summarizing how you're doing. If we go back to the third page in, which was the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net assets, okay? If you look all the way down, it is the fourth line from the bottom, change in net position, okay? You had a positive change in net position of almost $939,000 this year, okay? If you look at it, that's an increase of about $562,000 over the prior year. So if you were considered a for-profit business, your net income increased from last year to this year. Okay, so obviously that's good. That keeps the district in a strong financial position.
Good.
I have a question.
Sure.
If we're at the questions.
Sure. Nope.
Back to the first thing you were talking about, the water revenue.
Yes.
You said the 246K.
Yeah.
So I know that we added the $15 a month or so to the bills
I think it was 15 a quarter.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yep.
a quarter, for the Mass Ave water main replacement.
Yeah.
If we took that out of the equation, just, temporarily, because, I guess I'm kind of wondering how we're doing water-wise without that project in these numbers, you know what I'm saying? So like, as far as water revenue, water sales versus our water rates.
Well, would that be, that's pretty much that top number there, right? Just the water revenue, does that did you guys break out?
Did you include in that water revenue that additional $15 a quarter that?
That is correct. That
Okay.
is included in that number.
And
So if you go to the variance page,
Yep.
if you look at number 2, the way it works out,
Which one's?
there was
Where he specific, where you
where
wrote it
I
out?
actually put a little
Yeah.
synopsis
okay.
as to what happened.
Yep.
So the actual water revenue
Understood.
was
Less down
decreased
on top.
by about $162,000
Okay.
from 24 to
Understood.
25. But you made up for that loss with the $15
Yeah.
quarterly fee.
But the loss, I mean, does that,
Well, that's what I'm
my
saying.
question is that, I mean,
So we still have a loss because of
yeah,
that money
but
came in.
Well, it's not-
but we also
I was gonna say,
pumped less.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't, it's, yeah, basically, well, you didn't pump less, you actually
Oh, I thought you
pumped the
said-
same, no, you
Oh,
pumped the
okay.
same amount of gallons, however, there were less
Tier 4.
gallons and billed in tier 4.
Okay.
That
So
higher
is
highest
that-
rate.
yeah.
Because
At the
we were in the
highest
drought and we restricted irrigation use, does that have anything to do with the fact that that
people
top?
paid attention to it. Some
Yeah.
people.
Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of what my, just general question here is if we took the Mass Ave water main project out of our annual, let's just say, how we pump water out of money, we are down a little bit, that basically $162,000, which isn't not a major amount or anything like that, but I'm just, which can go year to year, you're right, depending on how dry, it was pretty dry out last year, which means you would think there would be an increase in water usage even from the people who were told not to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, so,
So then, would you take that out of the change in net position?
it's like, I kind of feel like,
That's what because, you know, the net position looks really
Right.
comfortable, but I think that
I think that's
if everything's in there,
right,
Yeah, but you have to include everything in there because you have your payments going out, you have your revenue coming in.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, for financial statement
Yes.
purposes, we
Yeah.
can't
No,
say,
no,
this
I-
is it, this
right,
is
Yeah.
it.
and you're 100% right, I'm just
Yeah,
doing this
yeah,
in my
just,
own,
you know,
a
for-
mathematical mind of like, how the water department is functioning, not including that Mass Ave thing, which we obviously borrowed money for, are collecting additional revenue
To
for,
pay
that
this
will pay
revenue,
that
yeah.
off. I
Right.
almost just like wanna just keep it in its own category, I understand we
Yeah.
can't, but just in my mind, to see that we're kind of flowing along.
I mean, some of the things that I suppose we could look into, I mean, or I don't know if you may know, but what about, I know like, you know, swimming pools and things like that are, you know, have people, I don't know.
That revenue
Yeah,
changed
that
at all?
revenue change at all?
It's all
or-
part of it's just all
Yeah.
part of the water.
No, I know,
Water
but
sold.
from year to year, that's
Yeah,
your
yeah,
question,
from year to
yeah,
year, that
that
could
one
be
I
part of it.
wouldn't
Oh,
know
we
without,
just-
yeah,
You say gallons pumped was about
about the same.
Yeah. Alright, those are kind of
Um,
the questions I had, but
I mean, I guess people could be more economical.
But that could have, what, I think what you're saying, because they pay the top tier,
right,
they, the bulk water purchase is top tier,
Mm-hmm.
and that number was down, so that could be that difference
Yeah.
right there.
it has to be honest with you.
On the top
If
tier,
we're-
yeah.
If we're about the same gallons pumped,
Yep.
if the rates were the same as last year as they were this year, which they are,
Yep.
you know, that was my question.
Mhm.
I mean, I think, you know, generally you're going to always have to, you know, assess your rates
Sure.
over time to meet the operating
Mhm.
expenditures of the district,
Right.
so.
And we did that a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and I think we're,
any of the monies that we get from like PFAS litigation and stuff, is that considered income?
It is, but all of that stuff, if you look
it's
down
separated.
into the we put it in non-operating income, so
Oh,
that's
okay,
actually
yeah.
this section, so yeah. So there was the lead line study grant that you got this year,
Mhm.
okay, and then there was the PFAS litigation settlement, yeah.
And that's up when you're looking at that non-operating income.
Yeah, it's up,
That's up considerably
Sure.
over last year.
that's 250,000,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you kinda add that all into that final number of how we're up the 500,000 or whatever, like all those things. kinda-
Right,
You know,
then we're still
then we're
kind of
still-
almost in the same,
Yes,
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're up 562 and you take 350 out of that, you're still up 200.
right, which
Yeah.
is still about
200.
Yep.
where we wanna be,
Yeah.
you know.
you always wanna have a
Plus,
positive.
I don't wanna have a positive
I
billion.
don't want people looking at the big number and a positive and
Right, being
saying,
like, hey, you're charging too much.
wow, yeah,
Right, yeah.
you know.
So no,
Good.
No, I mean, you know, if you get money from the PFAS litigation, great, it benefits the district, right?
Absolutely. I'm just saying
You know?
that won't be there next year, or, you know, well.
But will be for the
No,
next 5
actually, I
years.
think that's gonna go
5
for
years?
quite
It's
a
gonna go for the
while.
next,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
is it 5 years or 10 years?
So,
Oh, anyway, it's
Yeah.
gonna go for years.
Sure,
Where they, instead of paying in bulk, we get a chunk
understood,
each
yeah.
year.
I guess my point was like, it's not.
Yes, it's not forever.
Not always there, but I guess for the next 7 years it is, so maybe we can't say it's always there.
However, the amount may vary.
It will.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't
Oh.
know, it's
It
gonna
will
be the
vary every
exact
year.
same amount each year,
No, it's a percentage.
yeah.
Oh, how much is it gonna vary? Does anybody know?
I do, I have the,
Oh,
I have a spreadsheet.
Oh,
They-
okay.
the-
but there's
those,
still more people
yes.
that they're going
This
after,
was
so
ju,
it's
this
gonna
was the
increase.
first settlement
yes,
was, all right, you're gonna get, you know, the first one was like the 200,000. The
Right.
second year was your big, big year.
Yeah.
They give us almost 600,000. Then the next couple of years, you get like
okay.
5%, 5%, 5%, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's all broken out, but I do have it if you're,
So that money, that PFAS litigation kind of legitimizes the PFAS in the water, doesn't it? I mean, they wouldn't be settling on anything if it wasn't a problem.
Oh, yes, John,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so I mean, nobody can say, well, you guys can't prove that there's PFAS in the water,
Well-
which we can anyhow by other means, but I'm just saying, well, here's the money that they're coughing up with, because
yeah.
it's been proven that there's PFAS in the water.
Somebody is being held responsible for
That's
the
right. So
contaminant
we know
in the
it's
water
there and-
supply.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But there are some people you can't convince that there's PFAS in the water.
well, you can't taste it.
Yeah, the people who have to pay the settlement.
You can convince them,
Yeah,
they know there's PFAS in the water.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So,
Good.
yeah, and again, if I read the document right there, they might even, that settlement fund could vary from year to year as, more people agree to pay.
Yes,
So,
And that just helps us build up more of a fund to reduce future costs.
Yep.
with PFAS.
Let's hope so.
Good. Any concerns that you have? You've been doing this for quite some time for us. Is there anything that stands out or anything that you think we should be watching?
so nothing that I really think you should be watching. We did go through some of the management, there were a couple of management comments in the financial statement, and those are things that I'd probably discuss in private with you.
Yep, that's fine.
And, but other than that, no, I mean, looking at it, I mean, again, you have a great cash position. Over the years, you're trying to control your expenses, which are great. And that's about all you can do, and in this day and age, expenses are out of control. I mean, so the more you can control them and keep them as low as possible, the better off it's gonna be for the district. One of the things that, again, is always, I see this at a couple of different water districts, managing the receivables is always difficult. There's always people who can afford to pay and can't afford to pay. They enter payment plans, then they default on their payment plans.
Yep.
So it's a very difficult thing to manage, and that's about the best advice I can give you, is try to manage your receivables the best you can,
Yeah.
because it's imperative to collect them.
which I will say, I had this conversation with Mark and his assistant who helped with all this, and since the audit was going on and being done and all that, we've had multiple conversations, and I know that Lisa, my assistant, and I have made big strides towards really documenting, collecting, doing everything. I know we've kind of talked about, stepping up a little bit, but this year we've got new stuff in our billing software to help track and send letters more efficiently, so we'll continue to work
It's
on
an uphill
that.
battle, so.
Yes.
Yeah, because obviously, you know, obviously getting your cash in, right, is, you know, supplying the water to the people is the service, right?
Right.
Then it's the billing, collecting, and, you know, having that cash to pay all your expenses.
Yep.
So, and service the debt
Yep.
of the water district. So that's probably the number one important thing is collecting your water revenue.
All right.
I have a question from the audience.
Sure. Okay, you guys.
I was surprised to hear about the depreciation because it's not-for-profit. So why is it that we depreciate?
Why is it that you depreciate? It's just generally accepted accounting principles. That infrastructure, all and long-lived assets get depreciated over their useful life and not in a single expenditure.
I just caught it. You know, it's
So basically, it's not the district, let's just take the building, right? Now, how long has the building been here?
Maybe 5 years.
Like 5 years, right? Okay, so the way generally accepting accounting principles looks at it is this building has a useful life of 39 years. It's commercial real estate, okay? So what they're saying is, yes, you've basically paid for the building, right? But it's, part of it's debt financed, right? And it has a useful life of 39 years. So instead of expensing the purchase all in one lump sum, which would basically, just imagine if we had our profit and loss here, right? And then this year we took, you know, a $5 million deduction for building the new building, right? I mean, your bottom line would be horrible. You'd have a huge loss. It skew your net position negatively and probably would affect your ability to actually go out and borrow money. So what they're saying is, being that the building has, you know, a 39-year useful life, okay, that you're gonna take, let's just take any number, whatever, 2.5 million, you're gonna divide that by 39, and each year you're gonna take a piece of that. But it's not only the building, it's every asset that the district owns.
So the vehicles, the equipment, the tools, and
Even
Computers.
basically, the water pipes in the streets.
really?
Yeah.
I depreciate those real fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other question I had was relative to PFAS. The money that we get in from wherever, is that held out of in a separate account, or is it melded into the operation of the district?
It's not in the operation, it goes into surplus. So it's in the bank, but not as, used as part of our budget.
Okay.
So I would think that that's gonna end up in, if you look at the balance sheet, there's an account, interest-bearing cash.
Okay. The concern I have is by accepting it and bringing it into the operational aspects of the water district. I just hope that it doesn't mean that we have acquiesced to the concerns and we're going along with what these jokers are doing. Because it might, how much is the dollar amount?
So this year, the litigation settlement was $218,000.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just, from a layman's point of view, I don't want to be penalized because we accepted into the operation of the district and say, well, you know, we've been paying you all along, because it's a pittance. The $200,000 is a pittance in terms of what the potential liability is here.
So I have a question for you, Dave.
Yeah.
So is Is your concern that we're taking this money in and using it operationally, which we're not right now? Or is your concern that as we take this money in, it's almost like an admission of guilt or something like that?
Yes,
Like-
yes,
okay.
yes, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I actually, I felt like maybe you were thinking that by taking the money, you're agreeing that that's your settlement.
yes.
Yes.
Like if we had
Yes.
if you had a lawsuit going,
Correct.
like that's your, I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I don't know the
Kind of
answer
is,
to that
right?
question.
That is
That
our
is-
settlement.
that is our
We're
settlement.
agreeing-
Say it again?
That is our
That is our settlement.
This is a lawsuit that was
Yeah.
filed against the chemical companies.
Yeah.
And this is the payment for the damage.
So yes,
that
we
we
are
incurred.
saying this is,
That's our
by
settlement.
us taking this is our settlement.
That's our contribution.
Now, hold on,
Our
Dave.
contribution.
But
you-
from the companies, and you're right, it is a pittance of what is actually needed to solve this problem. I completely understand what you're saying, like, hey, I'm a little like, what do we, you know, to me, as this finance comes in and as this PFAS develops into however we'll handle it, and it's obviously weekly, it changes, you know what I'm saying? I view as that monies that is collected from that needs to kind of sit over here and ensure that we use it in a manner that is PFAS related, hence the reason why we got it in the first place. Another, you know, like, and that can be, like, we have our operational budget, and then we have our capital improvements, et cetera.
Yeah, this is all just surplus
just-
and we can't spend that, like our special meetings in 2
Right.
weeks.
Yes,
All those articles are coming out of surplus.
correct.
And that is where that PFAS money sits. So it's
Correct.
not like we sit there and say, this is paying our
Right, so we don't
utility
make it part of our
bills, this
budget or
isn't
anything, but
paying-
I know, I'm
Yeah.
with you, I agree, because that's about that much of what's really needed to solve the problem, and it's in, but since we are part of that lawsuit, I mean, we are taking it, and it should be 100 times that, but.
It just shows an unfair operation, so-called, because you're getting money from a
Right.
found money kind of thing.
Right.
Anyway, it's not my expertise, obviously, but, I noticed in one of the articles for the annual meeting, there's a $25,000.
Dave, can I hold you for a second? Are you all set with Mark?
Uh,
With asking any questions with this? Because if we're all set with him, we can get into the other articles and stuff, unless it's related to the audit.
It is related to.
Oh, okay, all right, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I'll make it
No,
very,
I'm
very
sorry,
quick.
I was
No,
just-
that's fine.
No,
Yep.
I'm fine to
Go
listen.
ahead. Yep.
There was a $25,000 charge for taxes.
The Medicare, Medicaid, yep.
How do we miss that?
I think,
Oh, okay, so I'm not 100% sure. That's not something that has happened recently, okay? So there was confusion, and I don't know how long ago, but for years, the water district never did pay into Medicare.
so my
Right.
understanding is that at a certain year, the laws changed, and this is kind of what I'm understanding, is that the clerk treasurer that was here, all of the employees that were here were almost grandfathered in, so to say.
We were prior to that date.
You were prior to a certain date, you did not, and as of today, Frank still does not have to, because he has been in the same position, same district, same everything for this time. Those, as new people were hired, those changes were not implemented with
So
new.
we're playing catch-up.
Correct.
Essentially, yes. And that's not, when it first came up, there was a form that, I think it's like a 218 or something, there was like a certain form, I thought I remember asking if we had it, and when all this first came up, which basically was you either filled this out or you were grandfathered in. So we had to look into this from previous clerks and treasurers that were here, had they implemented that stuff, which it wasn't done. So essentially, yes, the changes have been made now, everybody is up to date.
And
We
there's
have to pay
a
these
benefit that transcends to the the employees, I hope,
Yes.
okay? Where before, there wasn't because we weren't in it.
Yes, unless you were grandfathered in and didn't have that, yes.
Yeah.
But essentially,
Do we
yes, there
have
will
to-
be.
I'm very concerned about making sure that the employees aren't not criticized, but.
Penalized.
But no,
Yeah.
no, because this is something that the district should have implemented and it wasn't. So yes, the district,
Okay,
and then now going forward, everybody's
we're all set.
all set now,
Yes,
yes.
so all the employees will be covered with this.
Yes.
With this article, when it passes, they're covered back. So they're
Good.
Prior years and then
Yeah.
now we are implemented going
Ju-
forward.
Just for your own edification, we had a situation in the town where the bills for water were not sent from Fitchburg to Lunenburg, and there was a real Donnybrook with it. So it fell between the cracks, and people were going like this.
Okay,
So I just didn't want to see anything happen to the employees because of, some administrative thing.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we agree too, yeah.
All right.
Excellent. Great. All right. Mr. Mueller, we definitely appreciate you coming in.
Okay.
I always
Yeah.
like these numbers. To follow up. Definitely come in.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions, just if you,
Yep.
just send me an email, or
Absolutely.
send me an email, and we can address them.
All right. Sounds
good.
good. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll bounce around a little now.
Have a good rest of your day.
Yep.
John.
So
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
we'll review and sign warrants. Done. John? Gonna make a motion to approve.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of the January 28th meeting.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's done. That's done. We'll jump over. All right, let's discuss this easement for raw water transmission main from Hickory Hills.
just an update.
Oh, I didn't sign.
Yeah, all signed.
Yep.
I spoke to all the parties.
Yep.
There's only two, maybe three. The Barney property,
Yep.
and then Jeff Powell's property.
Yep.
So he right across from North Road, you got Mass Ave. So Bonnie's all in favor of this.
Yep.
And I spoke to Jeff Powell, and it was most come like, how do we
Sure.
get value for this? So I mean, that's the point of this. Is I'm just discussing this with an appraiser.
Okay.
Alan Foster, local
Yep.
guy, or he was local, I'm not sure where he is anymore, but, he does this kind of thing, so he's giving me a proposal on.
What about the third property?
The third was McMillan Farm,
Right.
and I've called, I've sent letters, I got a call from the son saying this is the mother's land. He has a phone number, so I called, I left messages, and I haven't really got much of a response. We did speak to the state, cause it's protected farmland.
Correct.
And we are not allowed to get an easement to lay a water pipe through it, but we can go through what's called the Article 97 process, where they would allow us certain reasons, you could get an easement through it.
Okay.
And so we looked at that, it didn't seem like it
It
was too
didn't
difficult.
seem like much.
So we might be able to do it,
It
we
was-
just need to get some communication, but Jeff Powell we get from Mass Ave in Northfield all the way to Lancaster Ave. So that saved us going through the center of town,
Yeah.
Main Street, I mean, that saved
Well,
us.
I'm sorry, going through Jeff, you still need to go through the McMillan property, correct?
No,
No, we don't have
he
to.
runs all the way up to
So
Lancaster.
we got,
His property.
so we
goes
can
from
go-
There, all the way down.
let me show you that.
I kinda like to
Yeah,
see
he's,
it.
yeah.
He must go to,
He goes to
if I'm looking at
Lancaster,
the field
past
to the
Rolling
left.
Acres.
He circles back to Lancaster Ave, just past the,
okay.
the
Yeah.
conservation area.
Yes, I know,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. So yeah, so then you're talking about jumping on Lancaster Ave and
Yes,
going
if we
down
couldn't
that
go
way.
McMillan.
If
Right.
we went the other, if we could go McMillan, would you run it down Reservoir and then come to the backside?
Reservoir would be a much easier
Yeah.
road to do. So there's the whole piece.
Okay,
So there's Rolling Acres.
I see. All right, this is what you're talking about here.
Yes,
I
so,
understood.
so we would zip through Barney's
Yeah.
property, which I asked wherever you want me to go,
Yeah.
and they picked here.
Yep,
So we could go through Barney's, all the way through Jeff's,
yep.
and then I would love to just zip right down there.
Right, that would be fantastic.
But we'll see how it goes, if we can,
Okay.
he's up for us
All
going
right,
the whole way.
all right, no problem.
So,
conceptually, the plan and the idea is to put a cross-country main in that would reduce the overall cost of the project by a lot.
I'm gonna guess
Millions.
Right.
Millions.
Yep.
What size does it need to be, do we know? 12 inch?
I think it was 12.
Yeah.
So, but even still, that could be something we bid, or that could be something,
Part of the easement, or we do
Oh,
it
yeah.
ourselves?
Yeah.
and I think there's some wetlands areas are there, so there
Yeah.
are some difficult spots. But to me, they're not too difficult, because they're not very long. We can directional draw right underneath them and not even touch them.
Yeah, you'll have some over here, but over here yeah. Yeah, sounds fun.
Didn't we do this already? I seem to remember that we went across the field and it was kind of a, the path of least resistance.
No.
Do you remember it?
We don't have a cross-country.
We talked
did.
about
We
it.
talked about it.
Yeah.
This-
I think the only thing that I can remember that might be close is when we extended the extended through Flat Hill Orchards, maybe, down to, that was the only, that's kind of, but that was still on
To
the
the
road,
trail
wasn't
park?
it?
Yeah, that was down the road, down to the trailer park.
We've been talking about doing this as part of coming up with creative solutions to the PFAS solution of running a water main from Hickory Hills over to there. And this is one big leg of getting across that we've just been
Yeah.
working on. A lot of times when this all comes up, it comes up to this big number. We've always felt that the number, yes, we think it is big, but we really think it's obviously less, but we've never put an actual number price on this. So if we ended up doing all our homework and getting a path that can go through here, and putting a number on it, I think that may be beneficial to the public when we go like, hey,
Yeah,
we have a number for this, so we can take that, making up numbers here, 40 million and put it down to 32 or something, I don't know, whatever it may be.
Yep.
That's what we're trying to do here.
Right, so
That's
I mean.
This
none
is
of-
all hypothetical, but we're
Yeah,
just,
it is. We're trying everything we can do to lower this cost. Like none of us wanna spend $40 million,
Sure.
but we have to do
we
something.
gotta do something.
So we're coming up with every plan that we possibly can to lower this cost.
and the
So-
way that the residents have approached it is, we need to have numbers. They want to see numbers. So if we just throw this idea at them and say, we're gonna save millions, they're gonna be like, well,
How?
how much?
Yeah.
You know, like exactly, how do you
And-
know?
And for us to do
So
this, it's, I don't know, it's France time. You know what I'm saying? It's not the cost of the district, anything
Yeah.
of us just, trying to piece some of this together, so that's what we're trying to
It
do.
will when the appraisal comes in though. So
Sure.
when that comes in, it'll be a proposal.
Right.
Yep.
I'll bring it to you guys can
Absolutely.
decide. And,
We'll find out by then, hopefully the IUP will come out.
What kind of appraisal are you looking to get?
just appraisal for a 20-foot wide easement. And from when I spoke.
What it's worth?
Yeah, what's the
Yeah,
fair
what
market
the, what's
value
easement
for
worth?
Sorry?
Yeah, what's the value of the easement worth to the property owners? That's all. So it's not, we're not taking property, it's not, we don't own the property, and the goal is that we stay right on the edge of the property line, so it has won't devalue their property from developing or building a house or whatever it is. Cause usually you got your variance area, you hold that setback from the property line, so we're gonna be in that spot. So it won't affect anybody building a house.
And the state hasn't give you any pushback?
The state,
The only pushback
Is
is
that,
if,
all that land is under state
Oh,
program?
you're talking about McMillan's, we're
McMillan's.
talking about,
McMillan's
Jeff
is.
Powell's
Oh.
The other one's
and
on.
McMillan's, that's good, but yes, we don't know anything about McMillan's, that, yes, it's under protective. If we wanted to go that way, you spoke to the
That was that article,
97.
97, you would
we
have to.
tried to do that at the country lot,
Yep.
down on 2A. We had to bring that to the town meeting to get that approved, but the town.
Just like a
voted it
farm
down.
being in 61B or 61B, like the town is the first one,
Right.
I mean, did that.
Now, what about the, I'm having a senior moment here. The Bonnie land, where is that?
Right.
Right on to it.
Right,
To
Dave,
in the back?
Here's a map, buddy.
right on 2A, right across from Northfield Road.
Yeah.
So we run the main down Northfield
So
Road.
this is Mass Ave.
Yep.
This is Northfield
Yep.
right here. So come right down.
Yep.
Barney's land here.
Yep.
Jeff Powell owns all of this.
Yep.
So we could go that way, or it would be good to go down.
Yeah, that was all
Gotcha.
Whitney's land at one time, wasn't it? The Powell, Jeff Bloom, Whitney's property, Whitney Farm was out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, sir?
I'm sure the hundred.
I know, you just speak right up too, no problem. I'm messing with you. Okay, we're good on
That's it,
that, right?
yep.
To discuss application that was submitted for emerging containment grant.
Okay, so, I spoke to DEP questioning on the PFAS, PFOA, PFOS regulation, you know, when are they gonna, adopt that regulation?
Yes.
The TPA. So I called and they didn't really give me any answers. It's still on hold, but from what we're hearing is they asked for an extension. So it was originally supposed to be by April.
Right.
So apparently, they asked for an extension, so I'm not sure how long an extension or what. But on that discussion, a different representative from DEP called and said there's a new grant available, and it's called, for emerging contaminants, PFAS.
Okay.
And he said, we had originally applied for the master plan, remember Time Ball was gonna
Yeah.
apply for this big plan, so that they did submit for that. And so he called and he says, you know, that's kinda old. He said, we're looking to give grants for construction. So I spoke to Time Bond and resubmitted for $41 million.
How much?
41 million.
41 million?
Yeah.
For the whole project.
So, no clue what we're gonna get. We might get $1,000, we might get zero. Hopefully we get something. But just letting you know, another thing we're trying.
So, I'm kind of curious on that, you know, like at April 26th is what the original process was, that Massachusetts would adopt some sort of law from DEP's April 2024, you know, findings of lowering it down to 4.
Right.
And, but yeah, just, I guess, kind of keep us informed as, you know, I mean, we'll all know when the law comes. I mean, they have to basically write that law, and I'm assuming that's what the delay is.
So when I talked to Jen Peterson with Mass Waterworks, she's involved with a lot of the laws.
Yep.
Like she does all that kind of stuff. So from talking with her, and this is where some of that misinformation with the citizens group is putting out there about lawsuits. So I spoke with Jen Peterson there, and she said it's her understanding, everything that I've looked into as far as what the citizens group is stating about PFOA and PFOS, how that's gonna go, those numbers are gonna change. So right now, there's lawsuits against the byproducts of it, they're called Gen X ones. So that's what these lawsuits are about, which in talking to Jen and Time Bond, we don't really have those byproducts here. We have PFOA and PFOS. So as far as everybody understands, the PFOA and PFOS, they're staying at 4, and everybody supports them staying at 4. But because there's these lawsuits and because there's other things going on with the hazard index of the Gen X chemicals,
Gotcha. This makes sense.
EPA is suggesting to states submit a extension because we are still trying to figure out the definitive for the hazard index, not for PFOA and not for PFOS, what we are dealing with. Everything I'm reading, even on the links that citizen group is putting in, everything I'm reading and everything that the professionals that we've reached out to, they're all saying they highly doubt that there is any chance of the EPA changing this 4 for PFOA and PFOS.
Right.
That it's the other thing. So that's why they're not asking for extensions because Mass is gonna change the amount. They're asking for extensions because instead of setting these and then the EPA coming out and saying, all right, well, the hazard index for these other Gen X chemicals are different, now Mass has to change their laws again. They're just saying, ask for the extension, give us time, and then you can set it. I mean, that's the impression that I got from
That makes sense.
talking with a few people, cause I think tying to that citizens group, Fran knows, I really looked into that, because I did not understand everybody commenting about, let's sit tight, it's gonna change,
Right.
and I really started investigating, I could not find any lawsuits out there
That are gonna change PFOA.
that are gonna change the
PFAS.
PFOA and the PFOS, so that's why we reached out to Ty and Bond and Mass Water Works and said, hey, do you guys know something we don't?
And those deadline dates are still there. Full compliance by 2031.
When?
2031.
2031.
So the compliance dates of still having a plan developed by 2027 and implementation or compliance at 2031.
Yes,
So we got 5 years.
yes. And it takes 2 to 3 years to build the plant, so.
Gonna be
Here
here
it
before you
goes.
know.
And again, it's
I
not
think,
like we
I
want to
think if we're
spend.
I think if you're in process,
Yeah, they'll
there'll
be.
probably be a little more, but yeah, we have deadlines that we need to try to meet.
Alright. Good job, everybody.
Yeah, so that one, so we're applying for grants for that, and, I got another one we'll discuss in the open comments, so.
Well, next we got Commissioner Superintendent Cook, Treasurer
Okay,
Additions. Alright.
so there's another grant, One Stop Grant, and Christie's gonna apply for this one, we'll keep Ty and Bond out of this one. But this is not for any kind of PFAS, PFOA or any of that, it's for a development, promote development.
Mhm.
So, we were thinking, the only spot we could come up with was Leominster Shirley Road. Go by Keating's industrial land, open up to, like, the
Down
Powers area,
70.
open up that area. you know?
My thought is from the Keatings, I was in the office when she brought this up, and my thought was that this would be great for those areas that are already slated for development.
Yep.
And helping to attract people to there, so we don't have, water currently go, Reservoir Road to Keatings and then goes down to the warehouse and down to the site.
Right.
But nothing from Reservoir Road towards the Lunenburg line. And the possibility of development within that whole area of Keatings
Yeah.
is there. If we can get grant funding and put this in place and basically run water to the town line at Leominster, the town line at Lancaster. The other thing that I felt would be a benefit if we did this, any future cross connections would be much easier.
Sure.
At that point.
Didn't we kind of look at doing this a little for a private citizen?
I think they had questioned some of it years
There-
ago.
People
About
have,
running
people have
water,
About
asked.
running water,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it was so much money they
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
couldn't afford
Right.
it. A bunch of the businesses got together,
Yeah, I got you.
it was just.
So that's my goal, hopefully, because what I'm learning, very early stages, reading through everything, is this might be a little bit of a collaborative effort with, speaking with the town. I think they like to see, along with our intention, our application, they're gonna wanna see the town, all right, what is developable, what can be developed, what's there. So working with the planning board or whoever to get that information from them, to put it as part of it, and why is this beneficial, and, hopefully get the support of those local businesses to,
So it's in industrial land, so this isn't for residential growth.
This is the best, to me, I think this is something that's palatable to most of the residents. Most residents, from what I've seen in the past, aren't really fond of development, but
Sure.
I think that,
Bunch of duplexes.
this is an
where it's
area,
commercial.
Yeah.
commercial and industrial, and it's
In
not
a
gonna cost them
commercial industrial
anything.
area also, like.
Those,
Yeah,
that's
that
the
makes
best
sense.
tax money we need for the community, so, if they can get developed, so.
Okay, so the other thing, if you're done with that one, you good with them?
Yep.
So what we're hearing for the SRF funding, we originally changed that survey from 0% to 2%.
Correct.
So what we're kinda so everybody's fighting this, going to the 2%. When we applied, the last time we were denied, that we were approved for 0%. So this time we applied, And, I applied for 0% again for this time. So from what we're hearing is what we applied for may carry through. So we may still be, if we get on the list, it may still be at 0. And if they vote to go to 2%, it'll be next year.
Okay,
So
that's a pretty big deal.
nothing,
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
yes, so nothing is confirmed,
Right.
but this is just rumors we're hearing. I just want to pass you on that, you know, the numbers in the survey could be lower than what we,
Right.
you know,
All right.
presented.
That's
Have
pretty
you
good news.
figured any numbers on this for, you know, X number of million and divided by the water takers and to find out what the.
I don't remember what those numbers were, but
That was all
but
part of that
I have.
presentation.
Without
Yeah.
knowing where we're gonna be exactly, I think it would, you really can't exercise that and be accurate.
Yes, Dave, to answer your question, we have, those numbers exist, and
I've
we've calculated them, and it's, once again, it's not 100% accurate depending on
Course.
how much we spend, but those numbers do exist, yes.
Yes, my thought is, it's great to get 0 this and 0 that, but when the water takers are faced with this, you know, how much is that gonna be?
Correct.
You know, so.
There's a lot of moving parts to it.
Of course there is.
Different grants, principal forgiveness if it still exists, 0% versus 2%. The litigation that we are a part of, you know, how much money we get in from that, because that's still ongoing with other companies, I believe. Are we still, is that class action
It's-
still kind of an ongoing, like?
Well, they're
possibly
still
more-
pursuing some of the other companies that haven't agreed to a settlement. So there's only 2 that agreed, 3M.
3M and DuPont.
DuPont.
Yeah.
So
So
those,
that's the payments
Yeah.
we're getting right now is 3M and DuPont, but we're continuing, they send emails all the time. Anytime we
Yeah.
get new numbers, we're sending them to them and they,
so, and they're very good. So if we do a PFAS sample, and the results are high, we send it to them, and the higher our PFAS samples results are, the more money we get. So they're on top of everything, they're
Yeah.
pretty good. It's a giant lawsuit that everybody's tied to.
yeah.
Now, who's they?
Barron and Bud.
Huh?
Barron and Bud.
It's a law firm?
Yes,
Yep.
so I don't know if you remember, we did, the Lancaster Ave was MTB, was a additive they were putting in gasoline. And the same kind of class action lawsuit took place for that, and I remember we received, I think it was 600,000 or 700,000 from that same Barron and Bud for law attorney firm. And that's what we used to do the engineering for the Keating well, on the backhoe. We used it for a lot of good things.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so when this class action lawsuit came up again, I'm like, well, we know these guys, they took care of us, so you know, let's go through with these guys
But
again.
they're kind of part of a group, isn't
Yeah,
there?
so-
There's a bunch of law firms.
Yeah, so another bunch of water departments went with this group, and a bunch went with this group. So all the groups got together, so it's a big mass lawsuit. I mean, big group that's suing these chemical firms together. You know, so it's seems to be working out
Yeah.
okay. Next.
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 You good?
I got one more.
Okay, go ahead.
We sample the wells all the time.
Sure.
And wells 1 and 4, which is usually, they're pretty good on the PFAS, but it came back with .379 on manganese. The maximum allowed to put in, you're allowed to put in the SIPs is .3. So, just so you know, that came in as .37. Hickory Hills comes in, I've seen .35, .4s, so we're not too far off on what we see from the Hickory Hills well. So this kind of, just want to emphasize that this is why the 2 treatment plant, the 2 sources together will be good for a treatment plant.
I have a question. Is there any way, within reason, to test the Hickory Hills well currently? Can we run that, test it for all the things that,
Yes.
iron, manganese, and PFAS?
There's a new DEP process where we could turn on a hydrant, dump it up in the woods like we always used to.
Yep.
Doesn't matter about how much PFAS is in the water. restricted amount of time though. I think it was a maximum of 4 hours, which
Okay.
is plenty enough time to do all our samples.
I would really like to do that, just to get a baseline of where that well currently is sitting. It's been a while since we pulled numbers from it. I would like to do that if we can.
We can do it.
All right,
It's just,
tomorrow?
we're gonna get yelled at. No, I need to get approval from DEP. I need to
Okay.
submit a,
Well, I would like to do that, if you don't mind.
don't mind at all.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
I would just like to thank the clerk treasurer and the superintendent for their work in trying to minimize costs on a monster of a project, looking for grants to benefit the community and to benefit us in trying to help pay for that project. I think they've been working very hard to try to find the best way, the most economic way to improve the water supply through treatment.
Couldn't agree more. Great job. Here, here.
We try.
Thank you.
You guys do very good at that. Dream up stuff I've never even heard of.
Be a good thing if we could pay for some coffee one day or something.
You can bring it in whenever you want.
I'll never say no to a donut.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Or a dozen
Or
donuts.
10.
Yeah.
Speaking of donuts, you know where Stella's used to be? That's gonna
You
be
keep
a.
this up.
Huh?
You keep up this commenting out of line, you're gonna have to come here.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna tell you,
No.
they're gonna be using a lot of water.
Lemon stuff.
Yeah.
John?
What?
All right.
Any of you guys want to discuss the hunk of calcium on the
Oh,
table?
yeah.
I don't know if the residents can see that, but we're process of cleaning the Keating well, and that's the 45-degree bend that goes down, and that's what we're.
So if anybody doesn't know what hard water is or what it does to your pipes, well, that's what it does. Want to focus in on that? And Vanna White that thing up a little bit. It's not a coconut, that is hard
So
water.
obviously you put that, you know, that's where all the majority of the water comes out of. That's not sitting in, that size chunk isn't sitting in your home's pipes, but it does
It's in
show
our
the fact
pipes.
that it does calcify and you do have amounts of this in your, in the water.
And you'll notice when you wash your car or something like that, all the white spots.
Water
The
spots, the white
refrigerator, where you
spots.
fill up your water bottles, when it trips on the bottom,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
always white.
You wonder why that one
Shower
little
heads.
jet in your shower head isn't working?
Yeah,
Blocked it.
That's that stuff.
yeah.
Has no ill health effects to the current date, correct?
Correct. However, it is a maintenance problem and it's a problem.
Yeah.
So on that, the survey, which the goal for me was hardness issues,
Mhm.
is that a concern of the residents, and then the PFAS.
Mhm.
And most of the hardness issue calls are from Hickory Hills, so.
And there are people that are getting educated. I guess there was maybe a customer that came in the other day, it was either you or Kristen told me, that really didn't even know what hardness was till it was explained. And then they're like, oh yeah, I got that.
More so, like, so that's what's on my shower head, that's what's on
Yeah.
my coffee cup, like my
Yeah.
coffee mug, that's what, I'm like,
Yeah.
yep, that's,
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
the plaque.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. I got nothing, you got anything, Kristen?
Nope.
Hold on.
Oh, he's raising.
I'm gonna take some public comment. Do we have anybody other than Dave Rogers?
Hey.
that-
I mean, I'll
No,
wait.
no, I'm just.
Yeah, happy to wait.
You gave my call.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers, do you have anything you'd
Yes,
like
I
to
do.
input? Love to hear.
What's the latest on Hickory Hills as it pertains to the canoes and that whole Donnybrook down there?
It's the second time. Your vocabulary is excellent, Dave.
Yeah,
You
thank you.
Donnybrook, you use a couple ones. So as we have submitted a letter to them, along with the DEP filings, that the canoes need to be removed within 90 days. I forget the exact date. but
April 14th.
April 14th, they must be removed.
Okay.
That's where that sits.
All right. I heard through the grapevine that they, the Hickory Hills people, went and talked with the legal gurus, and they haven't got back to them yet. So I think they're dragging their feet. The second thing I have is, along that line, I wonder what the district is gonna do in response to that letter that was showcased in the Ledger. I mean, the person that wrote that letter seemed to be like you know, everything that he was writing was true, and I know that that's not the case. So what are we gonna do? Just let these people rant and rave and just sit back and not do anything?
You can't fix stupid, Dave.
Well, so Dave, this is a good question, all right, it's something that I've often thought about too. The problem is that is exactly what it is. It's a letter to the editor that basically anybody can write, and the information that was in that article was vastly skewed, very inaccurate. But it does not benefit us to go into an engagement back and forth with a private citizen on what they spread for rumors, basically. It is our job as a district to present the facts, etc. So, which we are doing via our surveys, through our, the media stuff that we have. So, for us to start engaging basically in a Facebook war with somebody, this doesn't do any good, and to be honest with you, I feel it would take away credibility from us if we started chipping back and forth on that. The information in that, I've read it, I actually spent a lot of time between these two meetings looking into some of the Mass DEP laws, the timelines, what they said in that article, and I gotta be honest with you, it disgusts me. Because some of the stuff that's put in there is put in there on purpose to basically sway public opinion and vote when it's completely untrue. And the person or group, or now the people are not all part of that group anymore, I don't know, understand how that thing's going, all need to take a personal responsibility for what they're doing. It's very, it's very dishonest, and I gotta tell you, it takes a lot out of someone's moral soul to put something like that out there when it's just not true. And what they're doing is they're skewing the belief of the rest of the town for their own personal benefit, which I don't even know if it is a personal benefit, but that's what it is. So to your question there, I understand what you're saying, but if you think we're gonna sit out here and start getting on Facebook or start writing letters like that, it's not gonna happen.
Mr. Chair, to kind of piggyback on that, anybody that has any questions about how things are operated here, we have our meetings. Fran is always accessible for
Very accessible.
I can tell you that the one part that I disagree with in the articles that were out there is they spoke to a collaborative effort with the water district. We've had people in here, we've had great discussions, had a lot of information back and forth. The district has not collaborated with this group directly. So to me, that's false, and again, to anybody that has a question, come into our meetings and talk to us. People have.
Yep.
And this is where we can work it out and get what's really accurate information to the public. I can't say any more about it. I really don't wanna get upset over it.
Our goal is to get as much accurate information out to the public, and then us as a community, as a group, let's make a decision on how we want to handle PFAS. That's why the survey is out there. We're looking to see, guys, everybody come on in, we have a problem, how do you want to handle it?
I couldn't agree more with what was said here. But the fact of the matter is, I do not go along with just sitting back and not doing anything. Even if it's a one paragraph disclaimer, because Joe and Sally Smith out there thinks that, well, the water district's not doing anything, so it must be true. And that's not the case. I know that.
Maybe we should consider doing a letter to the editor ourselves.
I kind of would like to make a more, formal, once we get some of this information. Once we get, I know we talk about, them talking about lawsuits, let's sit back and wait. Well, that's has nothing to do with what we're talking about, you know what I mean? That we have all these quick answers for all the lies that they say or false information. Why don't we?
Well, a lot of the stuff that I bring up, like the manganese levels and stuff, it's just to show that the Hickory Hills well is not much worse off than what we currently have now. That's my point. That's why I make
And
this.
it's
But when
being-
when they
it's
say
being
these
portrayed
comments, I said it. I'm trying to set it up so people can see that, hey, yeah, that well's offline because of high manganese, but we have other issues, the same issues at Lancaster Ave wells. So that's
Sure.
why I say that.
Yeah.
And that's
So
their,
people can see that, hey, we have a problem and we can solve this problem, and the Hickory Hills well is gonna solve the problem for millions cheaper. That's,
Who's our PR lady?
And then, so the other thing is on,
Yeah.
on that, it keeps coming out
Yeah.
that, you know,
Should we-
why are we pursuing a contaminated
A
resource for
polluted,
use?
yeah.
Highly
Or
polluted.
highly polluted. And basically with the information that Fran's showing,
not to use
it's
it.
no more highly polluted than any of our other resources. And, you know, so other than maybe higher levels of PFAS, and
very close on the
Very
PFAS too.
the benefit to that is going to help us pay for some of this work coming down the line, or give us opportunities to save money because of the increased contaminant in that one source.
I think, Dave, I know exactly what you're saying, and I hear and understand you. And I think maybe what we should try to do here is, one, you see all those articles and whatnot there, you see the people that respond back, that average people that can have a brain and be like, this is all lies. I think once we get some more information from this survey, then maybe we do reach out with Nicole and maybe at that point respond to something more factual about
Yeah.
what we're actually doing and what the actual laws
Some
are,
results.
et cetera, you know. I feel like we spend a lot of time on this whole PFAS thing, and it's important. The reality is that we need 2/3 of the public to agree to fix the problem.
Yep.
You know, so,
And right
so
now, 2/3 of our vote is coming from
from a one demographic.
this big an area in the district.
That's why I wanted the survey out, that's why we're gonna get a lot of information back from there, let's see what the town says, and then from there, we'll definitely, I think we should talk to Nicole, and I value her opinion, she's very good at this stuff. And maybe we do put some sort of article out there of,
yeah, I think once everything's,
you know, let's
Start to
gather a
pull in some
little more
results, yeah.
information, and then, yes.
Yeah.
I agree, Dave, I mean, I'm not,
Yeah, but I agree with all the points that were made, you know, you don't wanna get in the middle of a peeing contest,
Yeah.
you know, but,
So, you guys see a lot of emails, there's a lot of emails that go back and forth, I just copy these guys, CC these guys on it so they can see the information going back. Look, if you guys ever have any questions on what I send, ask away, because although you can see, hey, this well can pump this and do this and this, doesn't mean you can actually do that, you know, so.
and that's where I think, like, man, if the average person saw all the collaboration, right, where that you've done with that individual on that, the information in those is like, it's interesting to read. And it's so true in the fact that you just can't look at raw data. There's so much more that goes into this than just, this isn't a numbers equation. You have to start looking at what the wells really can pump, what happens when you pump them too much, blah, blah. You can't just go on a DEP website and pull off like, well, let's permit for this. All right, well, we can't do that, because we only can pump it for a day, then it's gonna recharge, and then this well's down for a month because it needs to be serviced and cleaned and blah, blah, blah. When, I think you said it the best. The reality is the best two wells that we have in here is the Hickory Hills well and the Lancaster Ave well. Those are the best two we have. Not saying highest producing, they are the best wells we have. So, anything else? I would love to hear a motion to.
I'm gonna let you do it.
you can't.
Oh, that, yeah,
I was thinking half an hour. John, we could sit here all night.
that's right. Well, you and I can leave and he can stay.
Right, yeah.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.